Hey everybody, this is Jennifer O'Toole and welcome to episode 3 of Speaking Geek, Typical in Translation. I want to say thank you to all the folks who have been writing in. We got our first iTunes rating, 5 stars, woo! And I've gotten a lot of notes from teens and 20-somethings saying this is really hitting home and making a lot of sense with them, is what they needed. And I'm really glad to hear that. It makes me feel good. So, if we're going to spend our time together, we might as well have it be fabulous, right? Yeah. So this week, my daughter went for an audition for a play, locally, and it was sort of her first real audition experience. Brought back memories because I did theater forever and ever, total musical theater geek, and it brought back a particular memory that I think, even if you can't relate to it in specific, actually I kind of hope you can't in specific, you're gonna get the gist of it. So the school was actually doing one of the Pink Panther shows. Movies or plays, I don't even remember which one it was, but I was asked to choreograph it as well as to get some particular people to be dancers and be involved. And the director had said to me, because the year before I had the lead in the show, he said to me that he thought I had done a fantastic audition, but that the character, sort of was described as being dark-haired, and I'm not. I'm obviously, I've got a specific look. You can't be invisible as a redhead. You're just there, and that I really wasn't physically suited to that part. And so he was offering this kind of really cool experience. Would I do this? And I absolutely, what a neat opportunity. And I was telling that story to someone. And you know how that game Telephone, when you tell somebody something that they tell somebody and the story that ends up is not even close to what actually was happening? Yeah. So in the hallway, next day, a couple days later, at school, I'm standing in front of a bunch of lockers, and this girl named Christine comes along, and Christine was larger than me, although I don't think that would have even mattered because she had the element of surprise. She grabbed me and literally threw me into the lockers and said, "Don't you ever tell anybody that I'm not physically fit for a part ever again." Okay, first of all, I had no idea what she was talking about, because I can honestly tell you, I don't think I had ever spoken her name before, certainly not to her and never about her. But what happened is somewhere along the telephone line game is that me talking about me not being physically suited to a part had gotten translated to her not being physically fit, as in not physically in shape in order enough to be, I guess, one of our dancers. Okay, could those things be farther apart at not totally different, right? Totally different. But one of the things I say, I feel like the constant experience of being on the spectrum is that there's the constant how you can really mean well and then just have it blow up in your face and suddenly you're Mr. Rudy Rude Pants. Yes, it's that, right? It's the wait, where did that come from? And next thing you're flying into lockers. Or maybe not exactly. I hope not, but you get the idea. It's that what is perceived and what you intend completely don't match up at all. This happens a lot to us, and largely it's because, we have a hard time understanding or envisioning what other people are thinking and feeling without really being told. Yeah, or we might figure it out in one situation, but then it doesn't apply to the next, or we think it applies to the next and it doesn't apply to the next, and we've basically stepped in it or thrown ourselves into the locker. It's kind of like the feeling, right, of I say it's instead of the rug being pulled out from under you, it's you are pulling the rug out from under yourself, and you just kind of never know when that's going to happen. And that it's easy to get gun shy from that, from to just think I'm gonna just not try anymore. I really get that. So came up with this little trick, and I think it works because I had this boyfriend in college, and one of his little lines that he used to say a lot was that the road to hell is paved with good intentions, meaning that it doesn't really matter if you think or you have a good reason for doing something, it can still end up being disastrously terrible, and it could be that your goal is terrible anyway. Well, okay, here's the thing. I think generally people's intentions are good. That doesn't mean that they're good for anybody else, but they're at least good for themselves. There's a saying that nobody's really thinking about you. They're not thinking about me. They're thinking about themselves, morning, noon, and night, just like you are, just like all of us do. And the thing is to remember that, even the worst villains in real life history have, on some level, thought that they were doing good, which, whether that's a playground bully or, some terrible world leader who's done horrific things. In their mind, their intentions were good, right? So that's the thing. You got to remember, first of all, that everybody, whether you're a medieval witch hunter, or you're one of us, people really aren't against you or me. They're for themselves. That's really important to remember, so that whatever you're seeing happening and however you're perceiving it, it's easy to run into that fight or flight, like, oh my gosh, they're totally out to get me, and I've got to either charge and get in there and be really aggressive, or I'm going to just back off totally, right? Usually it's neither. Usually they're not out for you. They're not out after you. They're really just out for themselves, and whatever it takes for them to feel safe and comfortable and not worried is what they're going to do. Okay, so here's the thing. That's where the split between intention and perception goes haywire, right? So it's like the evil twin, right? So it's like, what is it? Spider-Man and Venom, right? Or something like that. Right? Okay, so they look a lot alike, but no. One is pretty much always good. The other, oh no, that's the sinister evil twin. Insert maniacal laugh. Can't do it very well, but you know what I mean. Okay, here's the thing. So this is your trick, your go-to trick. And the only trick to the trick, or hitch in the trick, is that you have to establish it beforehand with somebody. So this is something that you can use with coworkers, with friends that you see often, with siblings, family members, parents, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. You got to teach them the code words evil twin. And what you do is, when you are interacting with that person, and that in any way, so whether that's in person, on the phone, if you're, IMing, whatever, it doesn't matter, okay? If you're interacting with a person and suddenly you are getting an unexpected reaction, so either you're expecting them to, maybe laugh and there's dead silence, or instead they actually seem upset, or they're angry instead of pleased, or kind of just the opposite. They don't think what you're saying, is a big deal, but to you, the way you were trying to communicate it, it was a very big deal. Whatever. If there's a disconnect, if the reaction is totally not what you expected, and especially if it's a reaction that looks like it could go bad, they're starting to get upset, that is when you think of it as you are having like a bad Wi-Fi connection. It's a bad perception connection. This is when you use the code. And what you do is you say, wait, hold on, you disconnect. This is your signal right now. You stop now. And you need to politely interrupt and say, okay, hold on for a second. I think there's a little miscommunication. Evil twin. Evil twin means it's like an absolute value. We freeze in the conversation. Stop. The person who's getting upset, stop being upset, because I don't mean for you to be upset. And you are taking a step back and realizing that maybe something in the communication isn't working. Ask the other person, what are you hearing me say? What are you hearing from me? What's the message you're getting from me? If there really has been a mismatch, you're probably going to notice that their understanding, their perception doesn't match up with your intention, right? There's your evil twin. And that's when you say, thank you. That's right. You've said thank you. Thank you for sharing that with me. That's not what I meant to get across to you. Can I try again? Because you have thanked them, you're showing them respect, and you're actually asking their permission, they're going to say yes. For you to try again, you're showing humility. You're showing that you care about what they think and feel. You are showing the fact that you know what? You know that we don't always get it right. Nobody ever does. And that it's more important for you to have the relationship be right than for you to be right in that moment. So the key is to know to say evil twin as soon as it looks like something's not matching up. In the same way, you need to ask them to do that with you. So that if you start getting upset, maybe you're feeling left out of a situation, or you're feeling like someone, this person that you're supposed to care about and supposed to care about you is really hurting your feelings on purpose, and you're feeling offended. When they see that, they should say, wait, evil twin, hold on. Let's check in with each other. The reality is perception, intention, they really are not one and the same. But in the end, people act based on their perception of the facts, not on your intention, and certainly not on what the actual facts might be. Again, I got thrown into a locker for nothing. But if you can do that, if in the moment you can remember to you say evil twin or they say evil twin to you, you get to stop it before it goes locker bad. And that's when you say, well done, masterminds. Well done. I hope you and your not evil twins will join me next week for Speaking Geek for episode 4. And that's going to be called Organize Me, Please. No, seriously, please. Have a great week. And again, thanks so much for joining me on Speaking Geek. I'm Jennifer, and all of this good stuff, by the way, all of this good stuff, this comes from the Asperkids Secret Book of Social Rules and Sisterhood of the Spectrum. There's lots there for you. And I seriously hope that you head over, make your life better, make it as awesome as it can be, because, you're here on purpose. And my intention in telling you that was to let you know that I'm awfully glad that you showed up. I hope you perceived that. Have a great week. Bye, everybody.